Sorry, I'm a minute late because I was playing guitar. I was playing this here, Viper, because I recently updated all of the Bunn Vens presets. And I don't know, I just kind of suddenly like EMGs. I don't like EMGs, but I'm just surprised. I got them sounding okay. And it's a different kind of sound than I'm used to. It's got this woody kind of thing to it. Anyway, so yeah, we got the EMGs going on here, and they're okay. Anyway, enough of that. So how is everybody? Hope you're well. We're a minute and 30 seconds in already. Am I ready to go? Yes, here we go. Folks in the stream. I got everything on screen. I can't even believe it. And we're going to change views here. Yeah. Hope everyone is well. Happy Monday. It is the Barry News. We do not need this for this show. Hope you can hear everything well. Looks, the meters tell me everything sounds good. Lex Jones saying, Bunn, hello. How you doing, Lex Jones? Our GIB 21s are almost twinners now. Do the ratio tuners take 74s better than the stock tuners? If so, I may have to install the set I've got in mind. I use the whatchamacallit, Kurt Mangan or Stringjoy. Most of the time for the RGIBs, I use the Kurt Mangan 14 to 68s. Occasionally, if I'm in a pinch, I can buy the Ernie Ball baritone strings locally, and that's 13 to 72. And I've never had a problem with either of the RGIBs, the 6 or the 21, in terms of threading a string through it. But I've never tried a string heavier than a 72. So, yeah, never had a problem there. If for some reason, I have had guitars where the tuner is too small for whatever reason, and what I do is I unthread the end of the string. I never update the tuners if I don't need to. To me, locking tuners, I don't care about locking tuners. As long as the tuner's good, like as long as the tuner is accurate, that's most important to me. Accurate and doesn't slip, that's important. The locking tuners do not prevent slippage of the tuner like that way. They just lock it in to the, yeah, anyway, if you, I'm sure you guys know how locking tuners work. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know if you're having problems getting the strings to thread through, just unthread the string before you thread it through. Easiest hack. Rather than drill out the tuner, I never drill out tuners, ever. But if you want to, you can. That's pretty cool. I'm John Blair. How are you, man? Can you play something a little less thick? Happy with the Ernie Ball baritone strings, but that 74 was a tight fit. Had to force it. Is it 74 or 72? I think mine are 72, 13 to 72. I haven't had a set for a while. Anyway, hello from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Max. Hope you are well, man. I love Halifax. It's my favorite city in all of Canada. I've been to Halifax more times in terms of traveling to a place, just not a random destination, but going to a place other than my hometown, or which is not Toronto. I live in Toronto, but other than traveling to my hometown, I've been to Halifax more than anywhere else. So there you go. because it's awesome and because tours usually end there, or that's the furthest east that we'll go, with the rare occasion that we'd go to like PEI, but usually we don't get to PEI because, yeah, there rarely have been shows there that we could book in the time that we were going. Anyway, Halifax, amazing. William, hope you are well. Oliver, I'm so happy I finally got my first 6-string baritone. Woo! Nice. Yeah, the 6-string berries, man, they're magic. So happy I got my, oh, that's Oliver. Ike, how are you, man? Hope you are well. Happy Monday. Houston greetings. And Lex is saying, just looked again, 72. Oh yeah, okay, 72, good. You never know, man, like, because sometimes manufacturers just change things, and we're going to talk about some of that today. And on the news, Salt Lake City, Lex Jones is from. Awesome. Salt Lake City would be nice in the winter, that's for sure. It's terrible here in the winter. But whatever. I guess more time inside playing guitar and recording sick jams. Handsome Jack, greetings. UK, awesome. Nice to see everyone from all around the world. Arto from Finland. How are you doing, Arto? And Douche and Destroyer. I'm going to tune a Les Paul to G, and you can't stop me. You do it. I tuned my, whatchamacallit, this guy. I have a Les Paul here as well. It's in a case because I never play it. But I have this here, Schecter 006. It's 24.75 inches in scale as well. And I had it tuned to G a little while ago with 9s on it. I was going to do a video on, you know, everyone's talking about, I use a really short guitar with really light strings and I tune it down to this much. And they're like, it's amazing. And I took every short guitar that I could get my hands on and I tuned them all down with really light strings and tried to get a good result out of one of them. And I couldn't get a good result out of any of them. With enough gain, and depending on what kind of music you're playing, it's debate, you know, you can do something with it, but yeah, anyway. Depends what kind of result you want. Maybe you want that sound. That's like, I've heard records where it's like kind of that messy sound and it sounds good. Or people who pick really ghostly light. If you pick ghostly light because you like to shred and whatnot, so there's two benefits to super down tuning on a short guitar with really light strings is A, the strings get like rubber band light. The scale is short, so the reach is very minimal, and you know, you're forced to play super light. So yeah, you just have to have a lot of gain in order for it to go, because you lose a lot of sustain. But yeah, tune down with whatever you got and enjoy it. I never did make that video because I was like, I'm not into this video, and I just stopped making it. Matt Sorensen, how are you? Lex Jones, thinking of putting together either a Telecaster or a Stratocaster baritone from Reverb parts. Wondering which you think would be best choice for the pickup options available for the two bodies. You know, I always go for humbuckers, even though I prefer single coils. If I can get a decent sound with low noise, like humbuckers, standard humbuckers, PAFs, patent applied for, PAFs, whatever people call them. They sound really good, medium output PAFs. And yeah, they're low noise and yeah, just low hassles. So that's kind of always my choice. Medium to medium hot output humbuckers, kind of a classic design. I tend to like ceramic magnets because they're a little bit more aggressive for low tuning. They're a little bit crisper. But yeah, whatever. I'm not that picky. Tim Wheeler, how are you? Hope all is well. Good to see you, man. We're going to get into it here. And where's my control surface? Here. There we go. Bam. And the very first thing is thank you to everybody with me over at Patreon and YouTube memberships. It is these people that bring you everything from the Bunn. They're the people that, there's a lot of people who help out in a lot of ways, but those are two really big ones. And we're going to do this real quick, thebunn.ca links. Great. And I'm going to just paste into the comments here. Anybody who's interested in coming along with the Bunn, like if you want to, any way you want to help out is great. You don't have to help out, obviously, but I just make it available because people ask. So if you want to help out or come along or check more out or whatever the case may be, those links will take you there. In terms of financially contributing in whatever way, there's a lot of ways there. There's the super chats and the super stickers and all that kind of stuff as well. Everything is highly appreciated, no obligations, but I just got to make it known. So without further ado, whoa, thanks for hanging out. What is the first piece here? First piece, lately we've been starting out with a popular question. So let's do that. And today's popular question is from Kazuki Hiratani. And I think this was left on the last Barry News in the comments. Hey Bunn, do you think it would be possible to see a video going over string lengths for baritones? I'm one of those weird guys who loves using higher tunings like C and B flat on my 25.5 guitar, and I'm wondering which string brands are long enough to fit a 28. I'd like to be able to use 11s, 12s, mainly Elixir because I'm a Kodig guy on my baritones, but I don't know which strings I should be looking into. Cheers. So this is a really, valid question. Something that has been coming up a lot. I think today's episode is going to sort of shape around this topic because it's been so relevant in the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group. For those of you who don't know, baritoneobsessed.com gets you there. This is it right here. Bam. What's that? Yeah, baritoneobsessed.com gets you to the Facebook group. It's a private group for people into 6-string baritone guitars and other people. If you read the little bit here, a place for the Baritone Obsessed to interact and exchange their experiences in low tuning, tone, and recording, focused on the better side of setups for 6-string 27 plus Barrys from drop or standard A1 down to 30-inch scale, standard E1 and beyond. And people who don't have those kinds of things, it's not like they're not welcome. 7-string, 8-string people and all that kind of stuff, or short baritones or higher low tunings. It's not like get out of here. We're open to everything. It's just that's the main topic that drives this forum. 6-string baritones, A and lower, preferably lower than A. A is kind of like really average. And there's, it's not that special. But G and down, things start to get weird, and there's a lot more to talk about. Anyway, so I'm going to go back to today's question. We'll go back to big camera, or actually we'll go back to the question itself. So Kazuki is asking about string length specifically. It's been a very popular topic lately in the Facebook group and in comments and all messages and all this stuff generally, where people are using regular strings because sometimes regular strings that you'll just buy, Ernie Ball or D'Addario or whatever, sometimes they'll just work. They will be long enough. But what I've discovered is it's random. Sometimes it won't work. You'll buy a regular string set and it won't work. It won't make the nut. And this is a very frustrating thing. And the thing I always recommend is use baritone strings. And something I did in the last week, because this has been coming up so much, just top right, how does that show? Yeah. I added this page to my website that is a quick reference for anybody on the internet to access. And it's every single brand of baritone strings. Bam. And baritone strings are generally long enough for 30-inch scale guitars and longer. So I'll use another example here. So we're going to go C920. So this here is the Gretsch Electromatic Jet Baritone. Is 29.75 inches in scale, and it has this Bigsby bridge. So there's a significant amount of string length behind the bridge. Not only does it go out, but it also wraps around the tailpiece. So the strings have to be pretty long. And what happens when people get into this guitar, if they try to use regular strings, sometimes it works. Most times the wound string doesn't make the nut on the low string. A lot of times that happens, and it's a pain in the butt. So these strings on here right now are the Kurt Mangan baritone strings, but I have used the D'Addario, the Ernie Ball, and the Stringjoy strings on this guitar. And they require pretty long strings to work. They all work fine. And they all make the nut. One thing about the Kurt Mangans, you can't really see it here, but the fourth string, you know, the F string, this is tuned to G, but we'll just call it the fourth string. That's less complicated. But this string, the wind stops right about here. So there is a length of string. Yeah, I think you can see it in the camera. There is a length of string that is just the plain string. It does not impact performance whatsoever. Seems to work fine. But the wound portion of the string does make the nut. All that being said, we're going to bring the Dingwall in here. This here is a Dingwall multi-scale. The longer side of the fretboard is 37 inches in scale. But, you know, the higher portions of the fretboard, so in this case, the F string again, these are Callium strings that I use on here. They have to be pretty long, and you'll find recommendations for this also on this page. Baritone bass, yeah, I pasted the link in there. Check it out. It's a full list of baritone specific strings, bass 6 strings, and extended bass strings. This would be an extended bass because it requires not only a longer string set to make the 37-inch scale on the low side, but also heavier strings, which a lot of people, they kind of tap out at 135 or 140. So, and I have a 176 on the low side for G on this. And it kind of, that's as seems to be where the piano kind of thing kicks in. But anyway, do I like it that heavy? No, I don't. Sidebar. Anyway, so the Callium strings, I ordered them, and on their site, something effed up with the cart, and it dropped out a string. And I checked the cart after, and it was missing in the, like the whole option in the cart was just gone. I was like, what is going on? And then I got into this huge kerfuffle. So there was one string missing, the F string or the fourth string, or in this case, the third string, because it's a 5-string bass. But, and then I had to order that separate, and they sent me a string with a guitar ball end, which I cut a baseball end off, put it over the string. So it, yeah, anyway, it works, but it doesn't make the nut. And they were annoyed with me, like it was my fault. I'm like, your cart sucks. And, you know, anyone who's worked with Callium understands the frustration with Callium in a whole bunch of ways. But anyway, the point of this is I ended up with a string that's too short. The wind doesn't make, the last layer of wind doesn't make the nut, but it works. Is it my preference for it to be that way? No, but it's all I got right now for the Dingwall, and it seems to work fine. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. On my guitars, I prefer the wind to make the nut. Just saying. And if you prefer the wine to make the nut as well, which is a reasonable expectation, this list here, let's go back to it, desktop right. This list is gonna provide links to string sets, all baritone string sets, baritone specific. If you're not gonna use baritone specific string sets, it might not work. And don't get mad at the manufacturer. Yeah, you got if you want it to make the nut and be heavy enough or light enough, in this case, this guy wants lighter strings, you're gonna have to use a baritone string set. So moving along here, in terms of that question, going back to the question, whoa, Kazuki here is saying he's wanting lighter strings, but that are gonna make the 28. Well, I think the best choice for something like that, 28, 29, 30, and you want to use really light strings, your best choice is going to be Stringjoy. It's going to make the nut for sure, but they have not only 3 options here, 12 to 58, 13.5 to 62, and 14 to 64 stock options, $13.90 a set, and the new Stringjoy formula or whatever the heck they're doing is great. Oh, excuse me. These are not coded. Kazuki's looking for elixirs. Elixir unfortunately only has one option. If we go here and we click the elixir thing, as far as I know, there's only one baritone option in electric guitar strings. There's 2 options in acoustic, but that's not what he's asking. Yeah, Stringjoy, I don't know if Stringjoy offers their coded option in the custom sets, but going back to the Stringjoy thing, this here, oh, damn it. For the exact same price as their stock sets, $13.90 US, I actually don't know if that's US or if it's adjusting for Canadian pricing. Oh, let's go. I'm on the wrong thing. Oh, damn it. There. So I was on the wrong thing. So yeah, Elixir, you know, seems to only have this one set. All this screen management, apologies. But if we go to Stringjoy, they seem to have multiple sets, as well as a fully custom set. You can have any weight you want. You could have 9s if you want, but in a baritone length. It's gonna make the nut on even a 30. I think the baritone strings are good for up to 32 inches in scale. I could be wrong on that, but that's what my mind tells me. What does it say when we select options? Bam. It doesn't say how long. That would be a good thing to add there, Stringjoy. I'm gonna actually, I know the rep at Stringjoy. I'm gonna actually send a message. Be like, hey, people would like to see the length options, like what the length is for baritone strings. And Stringjoy is a nimble company and they can do this, which is awesome. So yeah, I hope that helps with Kazuki's question. I hope it helps. It seems to be a really popular thing right now. Like, is it long enough for really light strings as well as really heavy strings and all the in-betweens? You're gonna be best. It's gonna be long enough with this here thing going on. I'll paste it in there one more time. Ike is saying DR are coded, but DR does not make a baritone specific set to save their life. And I've had DR sets not make the nut. They work for, I think, 27-inch scale, but DR does not make baritone specific sets. So for longer scale stuff like the 28 and up, no guarantees, and pretty much a guarantee that at some point you will get a set that will not make the nut because they don't have a specification for that. They just make them a little bit longer to hopefully help everyone. And Disco is saying, I use the Dario EXL 148s, 12 to 60 on my 30.3s. Yeah, I know other people who do, and then every now and then they'll get a pack that doesn't fit. So one day it might not fit, but and DDT 9 are 9 to 42, 13s are 13 to 65. Yeah. But what's the length of DDT? Do they have a guarantee that they will always be long enough for a 30-inch scale guitar? That's the big question here. Yeah, this whole thing with length. If you need strings that are guaranteed to fit baritones and a range of sizes, there's a couple custom makers. So the listings that I have, I'm going to go back to that camera here. The listings that I have for custom string lengths are the Stringjoy, the Windspear. If you're in the UK, Windspear is a custom option. Stringjoy is a custom option for baritone strings, a great one here in the US or in North America. And Callium. Callium, you're going to have to probably wait a long time. There's a lot of frustrations with Callium. They're amazing strings though, if they get the order right. I love them. Like I would use Callium on every single guitar. No questions asked, but it's too painful to work with them. So I try my best not to order from them. But with the Dingwall, it's tough. I'm going to try Newtones next. And Newtone is listed here as well. So for bass, we have Callium, and then we have Newtone, and they have a 53 to 174 Dingwall set from Newtone, and I'm going to try them. I think they're also stainless. Let's click on it. They might not. Maybe they're nickel. I prefer stainless steel strings. North Lane. Oh, they are stainless. Yeah, so I'm going to try these next for my Dingwall and hope that's all good. And if they work, like if the buying experience is good, I'll never go back to Callium ever again, because I've had too many like mega shipping delays. It's like, oh, when's it coming? Who knows? And then, you know, that whole thing with the cart dropping my thing and then the guy giving me a hard time on it. And then I had to pay shipping again on it. And it was the wrong string. I'm just like, oh, pain. But yeah, strings. People suffer with strings. I'm like, just do the baritone strings. Do baritone specific strings and it'll never go wrong. And if it does go wrong, then you can complain. But if it doesn't work, you can't complain because you just bought regular strings. So that's a thing. What's next? It's also kind of in the string topic here. Bam. Oh, what was that? I got stuff all over the screen here. It's hard to navigate. What's going on here is guitar intonation physics. And this was brought to our attention by Gnar Antlers. I'm going to drop this link in there as well. And this is a good one because it explains what's going on with intonations, a bunch of the things that can contribute to intonation challenges. And the part that's in here, I can't play the video, but the part that this guy includes on string stiffness, especially on if you have short scale and really heavy strings, there is a problem that introduces in terms of intonation, a major problem in intonation, and you know, why you can't intonate a short guitar with heavy strings after a certain point. But if you use super light strings, you can intonate it, but it won't play worth a damn. It'll be rubber bandy. But if you have light enough picking, maybe you can make it work. Anyway, guitar intonation physics. I highly recommend watching this video. Some people might be worried about it being over your head. Some of it might be, but watch it because it will answer a lot of problems. And you will probably, as you go along in your guitar journey, you will grow into understanding things more. But yeah, the physics word turns a lot of people off. They're like, oh my God, it's going to be crazy. Yeah, so guitar, intonation, physics. Get into it. Whatchamacallit, we're back to the comments here. I don't have a ton of news today, by the way. Slim Pickins means we've finally reached that point in the Baritone news cycle. There's not a ton to talk about. There's stuff. There's definitely stuff. But yeah, it was alarming this week. Lex Jones is saying that he's been looking at listings for that Squire. It's sexy. The Squire, there's only one Squire Baritone right now, but 3 colors, apparently. The Paranormal Telecaster, 27 inches in scale. Haven't I like the all flat black look? Not sure what that is. I jump for bridges. I think you're talking about the same thing. Squire Baritone. The only Squire Baritone right now is the Paranormal Tele and 3 new colors. Yeah, we covered the release of those last week or the week before. Not sure. Can't remember. It's already really old news. Yeah, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago those came out. Definitely cool. And Ike is saying DDT are 38 inches long. Is that a guarantee, Ike? The DR38. 38 inches of wind on it? Not too sure. Let's actually go take a look. I'm going to go to the DR site. DR strings. We'll do a Google search. Strings, string length. My typing is great. I'm a 2-finger typer. String, Length. Bam! Long necks. Bass players. Scale length, 37.3. So for basses, if you play a Dingwall, DR strings will accommodate up to 37 3/4 inches in scale length. So that's cool. And DDT electric string length, 38 inches. Here we go. Where does it say that? String length, 38 inches, material, da-da-da. So DR says that they'll fit. And they go up to, they're not that heavy, I think a 60. But apparently they're stiffer because the core, they're hex core, but it's a heavier hex core, so they're stiffer. I should try these because a 60 would be nice. 10 to 60, big, heavier, mega heavy. Oh, here we go. 65, up to a 65. I'm going to try these. DDT. I'm going to add it to the little bit. Good eye, Ike. Ike is like laser beamed in. I've used these DR DDTs on standard scale guitars before I got the Mashak. There was like probably about five or 6 years between my very first baritone and I got out of it. I was like, this is terrible, because I had a LTD Viper and it was I didn't understand the super low tuning and the EMGs way back then. It was year 2000. And it was so muddy, I just needed to change the pickups. I thought I just didn't know enough. Ike. More baritone coated strings. DRDDT. Is, whatchamacallit, accurate core technology was developed to reinforce the core and perfections. Yeah, they're coated as well. Ball and nickel plated steel. Yeah. DDT. But, oh, are we? We're not on it. Damn it. I thought I changed the, sorry. I need two screens is what I need. But, yeah, DDT, it says right here. I did a little search, found it. String length, 38 inches. And their chart down here is up to mega heavy 65. So 13 to 65 if you're looking for something really heavy. But their core, like I say, their core is a heavier core. It's a hexagonal core, so hexagonal is stiffer to begin with compared to a round core, as well as a slightly heavier core. Like the plain string is heavier. I haven't used them in a long time. I can't remember how they sound. Usually heavier core means less high, like high mid response. The high mids are usually less rich. Not sure though, because they might use also a different core material. They have a little thing here. Sounds, whatchamacallit? Sounds bright enough. That's all we get? No. Sounds bright enough. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear it with some gain. That's cool. Thank you, Ike. And DudeCraft, next news item. What time is it? No, it's 5:38 already. So next news item, DudeCraft Guitars just posted this video. I can't play it. Bam. And ads. Great. Skip. Great. Just posted this video on this 30-inch scale, kind of a Strat type of thing. He calls it the Mimi. And this is a beautiful looking guitar. Really like what's going on there. And also, yeah, if you are into baritone stuff, DudeCraft does almost all baritones and lots of interesting configurations. And yeah, get into it. I'm going to post his link in there. He's just like a really chill, cool guy too, like fun, just a fun guy. And he does these wild guitars. Some of them are really wild. Like he did this for the Great Guitar Build-Off. He did the triple guitar, the multitasker, which is this thing here. But he does regular guitars as well and multi-scales, and he shows all the builds and everything. But yeah, this Mimi is awesome. I would like to play it. I would love to play it. 30 inches in scale. Very awesome. Very cool. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. That's good. But yeah, interesting. DudeCraft Guitars. Get into it. Lots and lots of baritone builds. Awesome. And just a cool dude. And next item on the list is Eastwood Guitars. You know, there's been complaints in the chat. Not complaints, but kind of chat about like Eastwood, you know, people have gotten kind of like not the greatest quality guitars, and they used to be inexpensive enough that it was fine because you could just change out all the parts and actually turn it into a pretty decent guitar. Well, recently the prices for Eastwood have gone up a lot, and it's like a lot of people are thinking in the past, like, Eastwood isn't very good. Why are they so expensive? You know, I don't want to get a lemon. I don't want to pay $900 for, you know, this crazy guitar. And they have lots of baritone options. This is the reason I bring it up. Well, I just discovered this a couple days ago. They have this, you know, try any guitar for 45 days risk-free. And that's totally crazy. And it's a guarantee. We go down. Every shipment is 100% backed by us. It's unlikely, in the unlikely event where there are problems, where a problem occurs or whatever, we'll be on top of it. We make it so simple to play the guitar you feel your way, to see it, to touch it, all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, whoa, that's different. And I don't know what's going on. Like, are the guitars better? Because like I say, they used to be really bad. Not worth the constantly upping price, but maybe the guitars are better now. Has anybody bought an Eastwood recently? Because in the past, I was interested in them in terms of as a mod guitar, but yeah, let's take a look at the baritones. They come up a lot. But yeah, they got tons of baritone options. Side jack baritones, this Delta 6 resonator baritone. It's only 27, but that's cool. 27-inch scale, semi-hollow baritone. The Airline Map, 27-inch scale. This is a 27.5 or 27. This is a wild semi-hollow. The Jeff Sen semi-hollow baritone, that's a 27.5. The Mondetta Revolta, these are very expensive, as well as sort of a sub company. Really nice guitars, the Mondetta baritones. But they got a lot of baritones, so if you want to get into one, try one. They have this like crazy guarantee. I'm like, whoa, maybe everything's better, like the cheaper guitars. And let's just go back there. What is the price? $831. I think that's Canadian pricing. Yeah, Canadian pricing. But for me, like $832 Canadian for how I remember, my experiences of Eastwoods previously, I would never in a million years pay $832 for an Eastwood. But maybe they're better. Who's bought one recently? I'm curious. And with this guarantee, maybe I'll try one. Because I would like this new white model. This is amazing. This is a pre-order only. But yeah, good to know for Eastwood. Good on them for standing behind their product. Curious if the quality control is higher, if the components are better. Because traditionally, they've been bad. But the guitars are so cool that, stripping it down and building it back up, the body and the neck are usually pretty good. But you got to reshape all the frets, and the fret ends are sharp and all that kind of stuff. You got to do some work to it to get it into tip-top shape. But we're going to move along this here. What is this? Damn. The Baritonist. I kind of lost track of this a long time ago, and I've been searching for it ever since. And then I found a link that I had saved, and I'm like, whoa, crazy. And this is, I don't know what happened to it, but they do these 30-inch baritones, Japanese company, and I don't know if it's somehow connected to new material guitars. I have a feeling that it is, but they got these things, the Hyper Baritone. There's a bunch of versions of it. I had a PDF of it originally. Can we see the images? No, we can't see the images. Damn it. Should I go? I'm going to put my, how's that? That's probably better. Yeah. But they got these weird graphics on it. The Lucifer with a butterfly. But it's a 30-inch Tele, which is cool. And the headstock is very Tele-like. This is the Justice, also with weird graphics, and the Chimera. They all have graphics. The Death. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with it. The link to Aki's Guitar Shop is dead, and not sure. Send Zin Sakura a message. It's like, is the baritonist I don't know, is it still available? I don't know. Pretty wild. I'll drop a link there because this is like so rare. Oh, Mr. Nick Hill, what is going on out in Arizona? Nick Hill's in AZ. Anybody in AZ? He's on set right now. He's the DP. He's the director of photography for a production company. He's out there on a job, but he's dreaming of riffs. Thank you, Nick Hill, for that tasty sticker. It's going to go towards my possible Eastwood purchase. Next item up for grabs on the list is J Douglas. J Douglas Guitars recently shared this little post. They're getting into the 30-inch. This is a 30-inch LP style build, and he's getting into the bass sixes. So it's nearing completion. It's not finished yet, but he's got it all kind of rigged up, doing a tension test and all that. And yeah, curious to see more 30-inch scale options from J Douglas. I'm not sure if you guys know about J Douglas guitars. They show up on Reverb a lot. He's a private builder from Leeds, Yorkshire, England, London. I don't know what the differences are of all the areas of UK. But he's from Leeds, Yorkshire, Leeds, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, he does mostly baritone builds, but he's getting into the 30-inch scale bass sixes, which is sick. Stoked to see more from J Douglas. And then, oh, this isn't a news item. Millimetric. I was just like confusing about, but this is a millimetric. I really like these. This is a 30-inch scale millimetric baritone single cut, and I want one in all black with a maple board, please. Whoa, hitting my mic. Next item up on the docket is Violette guitars. These guys are custom builders, and they do custom guitars, but they also do custom deep six, or not, I don't know if they're custom, but they do deep six necks. And I'm not sure what's going on here. Deep six plus a 7-string guitar, and then deep six products. And they say that they're available through WD Music. And recently I've heard of people using deep six baritone conversion necks for their Fender guitars, Fender guitar neck pockets. And I go to WD Music and could not find any result for Violette necks or deep six or whatever. So if we go deep, let's just go deep. Nothing for deep. Let's go deep six. Deep six, no space, nothing. And deep space six, nothing. So, yeah, not sure if anybody knows about Violette. Are they still doing the necks? They say that they're doing them. Not sure if these are leftover items that people are talking about. Not sure. Would love to know more. But yeah, if you find in your research about Violette, are they still doing the baritone necks? And how long are they? Like, what is the longer scale? It just says with a longer scale. What does that mean? Is it 27, 28, 29? Not sure. But next item on the list is Odaholm Audio. This is Buster, I think, from Vildhjarta and Humanity's Last Breath. I could be wrong, but I think it's that guy, and he's doing this, you know, bass VST thing. So for those of you with the baritone guitars, super low guitars, and you're like, what do I do for a bass in my recordings? Well, we talk about here a lot VST basses. There's quite a few options these days. Well, these guys, they're the masters of going super low, and they did, you know, it super, super low. It says here, I think E0. Nuclear blast, bring me the horizon, da 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 da. Mix ready, sub clean, da 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 da. Here we go. It goes wicked low. C0. Here we go. Yeah, C0 to F3. Note range, low AF. So if you're doing the super low thing and you're just recording and you're never going to play live and you want to do it with like, you know, an octave down, you can do it via VST bass and it sounds really good. I checked out the samples. I don't want to play any of that here because I don't know about copyright. But yeah, if you're going low, super low, and you need bass accompaniment, these guys are probably going to be the ones. Otoholm Audio. Otoholm? Am I saying it right? I don't know. And oh, that's new to me. Great. We require a deposit to get started. Disco Elite. What's going on here? Disco Elite. Talk about Discord. Oh, Discordance Electric. Yeah, Mastiff Metalworks. Amazing. Yeah, we talked about that last week and the week before and the week before. Discordance Electric, Facebook, and bam. As you can see, they have a bunch of stuff. Oh, are we on a screen here? Yeah, we are. Okay, great. But this is 30.3 inches in scale. There's a couple different scale lengths. This is, I'm not sure what the variety of scale lengths are, but you can do your research. And they finally went live on the Reverb shop with models up for sale. And I think they're also doing orders. They're taking orders, but there are some models for sale right now on reverb.com. So that's pretty cool. That's you. Amazing, Disco Ellie. Love what you're doing over there. And yeah, it's a combination of two companies. One company does all the metal work for the bodies. It's like hybrid wood metal bodies. A lot of, well, I'm not going to speak for them. But yeah, there's metal wood hybrid of the body construction. And then there's the necks made by Discordance Electric, and Mastiff Metalworks does the metal stuff. And yeah, really unique, really cool stuff. Love what you guys are doing. Awesome. And we're almost done here. Last bit, we're gonna go to the last bit right now. Is whoa, Mastiff, bam, 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 Bunn links. Last bit is the results from the poll. Last week we did a poll and it was like, what kind of music do you make with your baritone guitar? And we did it on the Facebook group as well as the Baritone Obsessed Facebook group, that is, as well as on my YouTube channel. And YouTube channel didn't offer as many options in terms of styles, but you know, I wasn't really that curious about. I had an idea of what the top 5 would be, and it's reflected here in the Facebook group. Of course, with Facebook polls, is everybody in the world will add some obscure thing, and people will add things more than once. But that's cool. All we want to know is like kind of what the top usage is, the top 5, I guess. And that would be in the Facebook group, which I think might be a better representation of what people are using these guitars for, metal and death metal. And that's like many shades of metal, but not surprised, kind of nice to see. And then second on the list is with 74 votes in the Facebook group. This only shows like there's 3,000 members here, but 99 votes for metal and death metal. So, you know, a lot of people just don't participate. And probably a lot of people in this group don't even have a baritone guitar. They're just curious about it. So, not sure. Hard to make sense of these kinds of statistics. Anyhow, metal, death metal reigns supreme. Post-rock and post-metal kind of second on the list. Doom, nice to see Doom on the list. Then Gent Prog is fourth on the list. I speculated that Gent and Prog were going to be top of the list. Maybe if people didn't add a Thal category separate, Gent and Prog would be a lot higher. Thal really falls into the Gent Prog zone. It's a version of Gent Prog, I guess. But anyway, doesn't really matter. So Thal, Gent Prog might in fact be the third biggest category. Hard to say. But yeah, it's interesting. You know, my thing is sort of art school sludge. And yeah, there's very few of us. But I put this up mostly to see who I could connect with the most. And yeah, there's not very many people interested in the things that I'm interested in, which is interesting. But whatever, it's all good. But here on the YouTube, we see that Gent Prog, it reigns supreme. And oh, I didn't have enough options for metal to add the metal category. Yeah, I don't know why the YouTube thing only offers 5 poll options, or maybe there's controls for that I don't know about. There's a whole bunch of comments, so you know, people are saying like death metal and all this stuff in the comments. So yeah, it was a fun one, but yeah, not a lot of people into the sludge zone. We'll put the links in there if you're interested in more Bunn stuff and how to get to those links. All the other links, you know, all Bunn links take us to all places. And oh yeah, other Bunn news. I also updated the the Bunn Sonics thing to go to include just a bass pack and a mega pack of every asset, HELIX stuff, as well as all of the MIDI and all of the repercussions and everything in one pack. So for those of you who were asking, it's there. And yeah, I'm going to do this part, but we're just going to hang out in the chat now. But before we do that, I'm going to say thank you to everybody with me over at Patreon and YouTube memberships, Patreon, everyone who is with me currently and everyone who has ever been with me. Thank you. It has made all of this possible. Totally amazing. Thank you. But we're just going to hang out in the comments. I need some water because I talk too much. Massive Metalworks. Yeah, man. I totally stoked on what you guys are doing, and I love small companies, especially love small companies that are competitive. You know, one of the reasons I love Dudecraft so much is Dudecraft is like just like an amazing attitude. Like he's this spirited, stoked guy. I'm sure he has down days, but you know, he never brings his down days out to anyone else. And he's really positive, and he's helpful, and he's doing this cool niche stuff. And he's competitive. Not saying that you have to be competitive if you're going to be a small shop. Like if you want to be really wicked custom and do things on the really high end, that's cool too. I'm not cutting that down. I'm just really stoked on the sort of competitive kind of people who make it work, where it's like custom, semi-custom, and competitive, and like strangely pretty quick turnarounds. Like the Dudecraft, he seems to turn things around really fast. I don't know. I haven't ordered, and I don't know how many orders he has at any one given time. But yeah, so Mastiff Metalworks, I love what you guys are doing. Seems to be, you know, motivated similarly. So I'm stoked on what you guys are doing. So Lex Jones, is there a resource you know of that shows the different tunings? I know my SRC6 is stock tuned E1 octave below E standard guitar. With tunings, I actually get run across this question quite a bit, and my answer is always just try stuff. You know, the best thing with alternate tunings, people ask me about alternate tunings all the time. I'm like, just tune the guitar to a chord and see what happens, and try and fret it, and just try stuff. Change gauges of strings. So if you're curious about like, you know, how much tension on the neck, using a calculator is a good thing to do. So I have this page on my website. We'll go there, desktop right, page on my website, the Baritone String Index. And it's just like kind of a rough guide starting point for different scale lengths and different stock string sets that are going to get you in a similar neighborhood of tension. So if you like mediums on a regular guitar, on a 25.5 inch scale guitar tuned to E standard, E2 standard, if you like that feel and you just want to go lower tones, like lower tuning, and maintain that tension, but you know, you up the string gauge gradually and up the scale length gradually. That's what this guide is for. And it goes from A standard to E1 standard. So that'll give you an idea of string gauges and tension and all that kind of stuff in the neighborhood. And then you can experiment if you want to do alternate tunings and just kind of like, oh, okay, well, if I want to tune the guitar to an open chord, I have to tune this string up, so that's going to need a lighter gauge. And I need to tune this string down, that's going to need a heavier gauge. So you'll know, based on the chord that you want to form with an open tuning, let's say, how you have to adjust for the string gauges. And if you use something like Stringjoy as your string supplier, you can order totally custom string sets wound to your specifications specifically for baritone guitars and whatnot. So that's really cool. That's kind of a fun thing to do. It's really fun, like if you get into it. I'm a standard tuning guy. I will never play open tunings. I will never play drop tunings. I just don't. I don't want to. I don't want to go there ever. I feel like I am not even close personally to ever playing everything I could with standard tuning. I just see so many possibilities in it. And yeah, so I just stay to standard. But if you like the idea of open tunings, there's a whole bunch of advantages to open tunings and like open chord tunings. And especially if you get into things like slide or whatever, definitely like that's a whole world to get into. But if you're going to play out live, it's also something to think about. How many guitars are you going to bring with you to the gigs? But yeah, get into it. I hope that kind of helps, you know, in terms of what tunings are available to you. How many alternate tunings are there? All of them. That's the answer. Miko is into sludge. That's good. Brother Miko, I like the sludge. You know, very first time I heard crowbar, I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I heard Gorguts. I'm like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, can I take those things and kind of put them together? And then I got into, you know, post rock and post metal and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, there's like a thing there. And then math rock. I was like, oh, there's something there. Just put it all together. But I guess I do art school math sludge. That's my thing. Even when I go fast, it's still sludge. Audio Freak, if you get mad in the summer, does that make you hot cross bun? Audio Freak. Yeah, I am the hot cross bun. Dunnable, right. Ike is saying Dunnable. Someone else brought up Dunnable. Douche and Destroyer is saying recommend sludge music. We'll get to that in a second. So are we still on the the tuning thing. Yeah, so I have a bunch of baritone resources. We're going to cap off on that. So latest one is baritone specific string sets. I'll add the DR stuff in on this, but all of these are baritone specific. They all fit on baritone guitars. And if you're looking for bass 6 string sets, that's included here as well. And if you're looking for extra heavy long scale bass string sets, that's also included. But there's other options. So, you know, the baritone string index, like in terms of tuning down for the scale. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this, but it's there. Check it out. And then a conversion neck index is also there. And yeah, so if you're looking for baritone conversion necks, bass 6 kits and whatnot, that's all there. Bunn.ca, thebunn.ca. Anyway, we're going to get out of there. And someone is saying this could be next week's news. Maybe I'll still bring it up in next week's news. Dunable guitars. And apparently they have a bass 6. Thunderclap bass. Browse our categories. Guitars. Doesn't say anything. News. Do they have news? They don't have news. Why would you have news on your video, on your website? Products, guitars, basses, Thunderclapper bass. I don't know. Would it be in the bass section? A lot of times people put bass 6s in their bass section. Guitar. Is that what this is? R2. No. Is it a... Oh, maybe it's a scale length thing. No, it's not. Oh, I'm not in that. I don't know. Where is this Dunable a bass 6? Is it a regular product or is it a prototype? I would like to know. Because their typical scale lengths are really short, 27.5, which is cool. But I don't know, $2,400 for a 27.5 inch scale guitar? No thanks. But if they have a 30, then, you know, maybe we can do it. Because a 30-inch scale RD type of thing, what do they call it? The Cyclops? R2. R2D2? Is that what that's referring to? Yeah, what's going on? Going back to the chat here. Is there news on under basses? Dylan Howard. I was just under basses. Basses. So if we go here, nothing. Basses. R2 Yeti bass. Is it scale length, orientation, neck? I'm starting to get frustrated. This should not be hard to find. Yeti bass 6. Where is it? Guitars, basses, Yeti. 34, 35. Orientation. It doesn't say anything. Whatever. Maybe I'll find it this week and we'll talk about it next week. But let's... Oh, where are we here? Let's change our camera. Yeah, I can't find the Yeti bass 6. Sorry about that. But maybe it's like on their Instagram or something like that. A lot of places before it becomes like common choice, you know, before it comes commonplace, they just do social posts with it. Lots of comments. I'm going to be shutting her down in exactly 4 minutes. really touched the 5 standard guitars. Torquebo Lex Jones is saying, ever since I got my SRC6, I haven't really touched the 5 standard guitars I have. I know this happens. Who else does this happen for? Where it's like, ever since I got into baritones, it's like, I'm not really very stoked to play regular guitars. Just something about the size of the note, especially for single note lines and stuff like that. And the fact that you don't have to rely on chords all the time. So Miko's saying crowbar down. Oh yeah, we were going to talk about very quickly sludge bands that I like. And we can go to my collection of music and come on, Bandcamp load. And let's change our camera again. Desktop right, bam. So I really like Yashura. This is an amazing thing. Sludge to the maximum. Nightmare is sludge to the maximum. Mastro is death metal, and it's got a sludge thing about it inside of the death metal. It's very artistic. Frontier, not officially a sludge band, but very sludgy, like gnarly sounding band. Fawn Limbs has a lot of sludge elements in it, but it's more frantic, mathy kind of stuff. Mare, quintessential artsy sludge record, like awesome. YLVA, very sludgy, very awesome. Australian, I believe. Mourner or Stay Asleep, their Mourner record, amazing sludge record. Kowloon Walled City, sludgy, amazing. Combat Astronomy, not officially sludge, but a very sludgy thing. Specific records, you know, Flak Planet and what's the other one? Combat Astronomy. Other one that I really like. More releases. I really like Barricades as well. Flak Planet. Oh yeah, Earth Divided by Zero. Amazing record. And I bought this recently. Agmat. Kind of an interesting record. But particularly Flak Planet and Earth Divided by Zero. Amazing records. But yeah, a lot of cool artsy stuff, but sludgy and gnarly. But artsy. But this is an incredible record. Yashura. Oh, unbelievable. Just sludge-tastic, amazing. Killer drummer. Unbelievable drummer. One thing that is a theme in most of the music that I like is the drums are usually like kick ass. And yeah, Yashura, the rhythms and the drumming and the composition and the writing. Wow. Unbelievable. Anyway, I can't play any of it because of copyright, but yeah, that is some sludge. 15. Okay, I'm going to be shutting her down here. See a lot of amazing conversation. Did we go till 6:30? An hour and a half episode? Because I feel like I just missed so much here. And Lex Jones says, I love my A standard with a good chug as well as a nice shimmer reverb. Oh, it's so lovely. Yeah, man. Dylan, I haven't met Sasha Dunable. I believe he's doing the right thing for the right reasons. Yeah, he's the guy from Intronaut, right? He's a guitar player. He knows what's going on. But yeah, I wish I could find this Yeti Bass 6. Never mind. Oh, maybe they released it and then they took it and it was an accident and they took it away. That happens sometimes. They get it ready to go public and then they F up something on the back end of the website and it goes fully public. And they're like, oh, we didn't want to publish it. maybe it was a one-off. Yeah, there's that too. I don't know how many in our world, like in the baritone obsessed world, you know, nothing lasts very long. Things sell out usually really fast. But in the general world of music, baritones don't seem to be all that popular. And people are like, what's a bass six? They don't even know what it is. And Bunn, I'd love to see your favorite bands that use baritones. Interesting. You know, I don't know a lot of bands that actually use baritones besides myself. Like, you know, Close the Hatch, Stephen Barton, he uses baritones in his band. They're actually a band, they use baritones. But I don't know a ton of bands that use baritones like religiously. I don't even know what Yashiro uses. And a lot of the music I listen to isn't even heavy music at all. Like I listen to a lot of electronic music and a lot of, what do you call it? Math rock. And I try not to listen to too much music that is heavy because I don't want my music that I make to sound like other bands. I want it to sound like me as much as I can. You know, nobody's in reinventing the wheel here. I'm not like all original, but I really go out of my way to not listen to heavy music most of the time because I want my music to sound like me and not like somebody else. So yeah, not a lot of the bands I listen to have low tuning even. But yeah, I hope that helps. Hope that, or I hope that's sort of like interesting food for thought. Because I think a lot of people, they end up making exactly the music that they listen to. And which is why we get a lot of these bands that just sound like the main band. Like there's so many bands that sound like a poor version of Periphery because people just like, they just listen to Periphery. Or what's that new band? They're really shreddy. I can't remember what they're called. They're really popular. This guy, Tim Henderson is the guitar player, I think. And he's got like neck tattoos and stuff. And he plays really technical music that is kind of clean, but it's popular in the heavy music world, but it's not really that heavy, but it's heavy. Anyway, really popular, but like there's so many clones of that band. And I'm like, why would you want to do something that stands so significantly on its own? And when you do that sound, you sound just like a ripoff. And yeah, whatever. Music is just fun. So if you're just doing it for fun, yeah, play covers, you know, or make music that sounds like covers. But yeah, I don't know. Dylan Howard, he likes the Mare. Yeah, Mare is amazing. I have some early, like I used to listen to Mare too much, and that's why I don't listen to a lot of heavy music, because I started sounding like Mare for a minute. Mare ultimately is way better than me, so they sound like themselves. What time is it? 6:19. We're gonna shut her down for 6:30, I guess. Miko, I'm a fan of Nick Hill, and I'm thankful he mentioned you in one of his videos. Oh, he's Nick Hill's a homie. We've done a bunch of things together. He's been so busy with going back to work now that COVID restrictions are lifted. I think in the US, like there's almost no restrictions. So, and he's fully vaccinated. So he's like working full time, traveling, like he's in Arizona right now. So we haven't been able to do our streams or anything. But yeah, Nick Hill, he's a homie, does cool stuff. He does a thing with Stephen Barton from Close the Hatch, which is a baritone band. And, their thing is called Wells Together, and that's all baritone. I think it's drop A they play in, but like 27-inch scale baritone. Samuel J. Rivard says, it was fun looking Dave Simpson playing on a bass six. Dave Simpson, who does he play for? Polyphia, bam. Torque bow. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of people like will go out of their way to sound like Polyphia, but Polyphia is so unique sounding that you immediately, if you hear it, you're like, you're just a clone of Polyphia, except not as good. So be careful not to rip people off that much. Or, like I say, if you're doing it for fun and that's what you want to do, then that's what you should do. Yeah, Tim Henderson plays Polyphia. Yeah. I don't know bands very well. Simple is harder to create. Miko. This is a really good point, Miko. And it's the thing I'm most interested in. I'm interested in those ideas, like musical ideas, that sound really simple or that are technically simple, that are really interesting sounding. And every now and again you hear it and you're like, how did they do it? It's so unbelievably simple, but it's so unique sounding, or it's so catchy, or it's so satisfying. And I'm like, what is that? Like, how do people do that? And I'm on a search to try and find those parts, try and find those ideas. And I'm like, it's actually really difficult to come up with really simple things that sound really satisfying. So I agree with you, Miko. Amazing point. And Samuel is saying, guys, you got to try a baritone with EBow and delay. It's so fun to play. I've not actually tried an EBow. I haven't owned an EBow in a long time. But the guy who has a studio upstairs, Brian, he has a project called Gates. He plays he owns some baritones and he plays some baritone guitar. He has an EBow. I'm going to ask him all about it. Tim Henson. Tim Henson is the guy from Polyphia's name. See, I didn't even get his name right. I know so much. It's not music in my world, though. You know, same thing. What is this? Animals as leaders. Animals as leaders. Tossin, not Tobin. Tossin Abbasi, I think. 8-string guy. Yeah, like, you know, it comes up a lot in this baritone world, but like, I don't play 8 strings, and I don't listen to gent, or even like prog metal at all. So, but that stuff is really popular in this world, but I'm not in that world. And it comes up and I always am like, I don't know. Brent Court is saying, I can say it's definitely hard finding other baritone players in the area. Yeah, this is a difficult thing. I've been lucky in the recent past that my closest friends are into it, or will just buy the instruments, or are happy for me to supply the instrument to them and we can do a band, like we can play out. But it is very difficult. I would like to find another bass 6 player, because I have a project called Wetlands, and Wetlands is bass 6, and I'd like to start playing Wetlands out. The benefit of Wetlands is I could do it as a 3-piece, because bass 6, the bass guitar is just unison tuning. So it's all in E1 standard. So finding a bass player for Wetlands is really easy. So it could be bass 6, drums. I'm pretty sure Dave is keen to do it. I haven't talked to him in a bit. I got to talk to him. The Foreign's drummer. But for those of you who don't know Wetlands, we can play Wetlands on here, because I should turn it down though, because it's probably going to be raging loud. Yeah. Come on. So that's all you get. But the point there is, I could do that project as a 3-piece, so I get around the whole trying to find other baritone players. So what whatchamacallit, Samuel is saying, is it Samuel? Maybe not Samuel. No, it's Brent. Brent is saying, I say it's You know, I can say it's hard finding other baritone players. A way around that is if you go bass 6 and you go E standard, or even like drop D or whatever, finding a bass player is easy. If you keep it to a 3-piece, you can do it. You have to kind of give up on other things, but that is a thing. And that's something I'm pursuing heavily, because doing foreigns live was difficult for a whole bunch of different reasons. And I may not do foreigns live anymore. Not sure. It depends. Maybe the world will change and there will be a lot more baritone players. But Artie, who played guitar in foreigns, is not really into it. He's like, I have to practice it so much. Foreigns is like kind of not fun to play because it's so much to keep track of. It doesn't sound complicated, but it's complicated in a different way. It's not shred complicated. It's complicated another way. Anyway, wetlands is something I could do. So for those of you having a hard time finding other players, bass 6, bass guitar player in unison, and drummer 3-piece, you're good to go. But yeah, if there's any other bass 6 players in Toronto, let me know. I'm looking for you. And David Lawson is saying, thanks, Bunn. You inspired me to buy a baritone guitar, Ibanez RGI B21. I'm still learning how to use it. I'm a heavy guitar player. Heavy as in heavy riffs, like heavy music. That seems to be most of this world that we're in. Everybody likes the heavier stuff. I like the heavier stuff. I like clean stuff too. I just don't really play a lot of clean stuff. Although I think all of the new foreign stuff is going to be kind of mid-gain stuff for this next release. We'll see what happens, but baritone guitar and Ebo, look up Chords of Orion. Oh yeah, I know Chords of Orion. Bill, he's a good dude, and yeah, kind of has a big part to play in this whole baritone world. David, Lex Jones, you guys inner chat. I need another SRC6 so I can have one in E and one in A. Yeah, that's one of the things about having baritones. You're like, oh, now I want one for all of the tunings for each project. You know, my Vens project is in A1 standard, so I have 2 guitars for A1. So if I play out live, I always have a main guitar and a backup. Foreigns, I have 2 RGIBs. So, I have both of them in G1 standard. And then I have 2 bass 6s for wetlands in E1 standard, so that I can play out live and there's always a backup guitar. So yeah. Samuel is in Quebec. Nice. Torquebo is saying, come to Tampa, Florida. Yeah, well, wetlands and foreigns, whatever, as the world gets back to normal, one thing I'm going to be looking at in terms of playing live is as music is becoming much more of a priority in Bunn world. And yeah, playing live, I'm going to be paying attention to one thing about the internet is you can see where all of your activity is geographically. You don't know like who people are unless they tell you, but like, basically like roughly where people are distributed. So touring, I live in Canada, but it doesn't make sense for me to tour in Canada because there are pockets of people in other places of the world. So Southern United States is a big one. And then other places in Europe, little pockets. Makes way more sense to just fly to those places, play for a week, everywhere around that area, or for 2 weeks in that area, and then fly home, rather than play to 10 people a night in not even, if foreign's played live, like in Toronto, we would do well, or we used to do well, but if we toured in Canada, it's like barely anyone will show up. So yeah, follow the, go where it's warm, as Carrie. The famous abstract artist Carrie always says, go where it's warm. But we're going to shut her down here, dudes. Samuel's saying all these guitars and only 2 arms. Yeah, it's tragic. But yeah, gonna tour in the new year, and as I release more music, everything is going to be about releasing more music. The YouTube channel as well as just Bunn in general. It's all going to be about releasing music, writing music, and releasing music, and kind of the internet hopefully will tell us where is most financially worth going. Because believe it or not, even playing locally, it's really expensive being a band. So if you're going to do it, do it in such a way that it makes sense, especially as a man. Like, I'm 50 years old. So yeah. Anyhow, I'm going to take off, dudes. It was amazing. An amazing show. Thank you very much for hanging out. Don't know how much news we'll have for next week. Hopefully we can find out more about this Dunnable Bass 6. Maybe I'll write them a message and say, hey, it was a big kerfuffle. Everybody freaked out and then we couldn't find it. And what's going on? And maybe they'll have some news for us. But my experience is people don't write back. Maybe I don't write enough emails. Maybe I give up too fast. I don't know. But I hope you're all well. I'm going to take off. And thank you very much for hanging out. And we'll see ya in the next one.